Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The past 24 hours or so has been pretty important in the gaming industry in general. We've seen two very significant announcements and reveals take place that, by comparison, make Call of Duty look, well, I guess you could say very underwhelming. I mean, let's face it, Call of Duty is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, no matter how many dead game comments or this, that, and whatever else is said about the franchise. At the end of the day, it is still Call of Duty. It is still the most played FPS game on console, right? It's always a top seller whenever it releases in the fall. It's always doing, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in just a couple of days or a couple of weeks time. The game is a powerhouse in the gaming industry. People will buy it simply for the name Call of Duty, whether or not it is a game of quality of Vanguard, of MW2, of Black Ops 2, of Black Ops 3. If it's got Call of Duty in the title, it's going to attract attention. And that, to me, honestly, is part of the problem with Call of Duty, is that there is this certain level of complacency that they know they can just coast and still do ridiculously well financially and do incredibly well with sales and bundles and microtransactions and all this stuff, because at the end of the day, casual players will play Call of Duty, competitive players will play Call of Duty, people in general are going to play Call of Duty. But like I said, in the last 24 hours, we saw two seriously large reveals. One for Counter-Strike, one for Fortnite, two very competitive games in the gaming industry as well. Two of the other giants. Giants in a different way from Call of Duty. Call of Duty is big. Counter-Strike and Fortnite are much larger in terms of their player base, their target audience. And what they've done with these reveals is set the bar much higher, one that Call of Duty is now very, very far from reaching. All three of these games are going to have millions of players. They're going to do millions in sales. Two of them, though, are actively progressing in ways that the community is enjoying. One of them, Call of Duty, is not always doing that. Of course, the big thing here, the big focus, I really think, is Warzone 2 with Call of Duty. Multiplayer year over year, it's different with visuals, it's slightly different with the feel, although that's probably not going to be as noticeable moving forward since everything's going to be based off the current engine that MW2 and Warzone 2 are running off of. So even though we'll have Treyarch developing, even though we'll have Sledgehammer developing, the games are still not going to feel a lot similar versus an old Treyarch engine game versus an old Infinity Ward engine game, right? Multiplayer, it's going to be relatively consistent, 6v6, ground war, whatever the case may be. It is only so innovative, right? Warzone 2, though, was supposed to be this big upgrade to Warzone 1. We were supposed to see all these things that were holding Warzone 1 back with the engine's capacity and the servers and this, that, and whatever else. We were supposed to see those upgraded in the 2.0 version. And instead what we got is largely a different Battle Royale experience. Rather than upgrading a couple of things here and there, we got a few upgrades, which, in things like console FOV and some other next gen or current gen features for console that were added in. That's cool, and that was much needed, and that's a huge reason why Warzone 2 even exists in the first place. But also they went out of their way to undo so many progressive things that we saw in Warzone 1 and revert them or completely change them entirely when it comes to things like the movement or the recoil system. So while Warzone 2 is an upgrade in some senses, it's also a much different game in just as many senses. And then you look at what was announced for Fortnite with the Creative 2.0 and Unreal Engine upgrades that they're seeing there. And rather than completely redoing Fortnite's creative mode and completely redoing the way that the game feels and plays, what have they done? They've upgraded. And they've also given power to the player. And that is something that Call of Duty currently refuses to do. We rely solely on updates to make this game playable throughout the year and to keep this game entertaining throughout the year. Now, sure, you can jump on 8 months into a game and play some gun game with your friends, or jump into competitive and play some matches there, and if that's fun to you, that's great. But in terms of keeping the game fresh, keeping the game unique feeling, and adding new stuff to it, that's solely on the devs to add in new maps, to add in new guns, to create other gameplay experiences that we can enjoy and play throughout the year. What Fortnite has just done with Creative 2.0 is allow players to basically have their own game in a sense. If you know what you're doing within the Unreal Engine editor and Creative 2.0, you can create your whole different game basically inside of Fortnite. I believe I saw a clip of Courage and Tim and some of them playing domination on Rust, but on the Unreal Engine in Fortnite. And quite frankly, it looks more fun than playing domination on Rust in Call of Duty right now, which is not good for Call of Duty. Fortnite has just given the power to the players to make their own content, to keep the game entertaining for themselves if they want to, and that's just one small aspect of the game. That is a subset of what Fortnite is. Creative 2.0 is there for those who want to experiment with that, who want to play these community-made maps and community-made modes that, by the way, look incredible. We see some graphic updates and some lighting updates in COD, and then they go ahead and reveal what they did with the Unreal upgrades, and it quite literally is unreal. Like, it is insane how good things look there. So that raised the bar for what a game can give the community in and of itself. Let's then talk what Counter-Strike did, which I think is an especially good comparison for Warzone 2 and for the state of Call of Duty right now. Real quick, just a reminder as we're going into this part of the conversation, if you guys are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. News, updates, class setups, tips, you name it, it's all right here. So feel free to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with that stuff. But also moving forward, should we start to branch out into some other things as well? Counter-Strike 2, not gonna lie, very excited for it. Even Fortnite right now, very good state. Let me know down in the comments below what stuff you guys might want to see. Anyways, Counter-Strike 2 also got officially announced. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of teasing going on with that in the past couple of weeks, and it's officially going to be happening this summer with the limited play test going on now that I'm sure if you're a fan of Counter-Strike, you've seen people playing. And quite frankly, it is everything you'd want in a 2.0 version of a game. That's why I say this is such a good comparison. We went from Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Go to CS2, Counter-Strike 2. That's an upgrade of a game. That is a 2.0 of a game. Warzone to Warzone 2 is slight upgrades, but it's also a different game. And here's what's crazy is that the CS2 reveal has people loving the state of the game, loving the changes that were made, because there's not a ton of them. It's not like it's Warzone 2 where you're changing almost every aspect of the game. The audio, the movement, the way the weapons feel, the looks, the map, everything you can think of, right? Instead, it's just touching on a few things here and there, just enough to make the game feel fresh, but also to improve the state of the game a ton, which, I mean, the current state of CSGO and everything like that was already great. It was breaking concurrent player records recently even, which is just even better for, you know, Valve and everything going on there, because now they're going to have even more hype on top of what was already a top tier game. But here's what CSGO got upgraded with CS2 essentially. They've gone through and changed the way that the smokes work in the game. So now smokes interact with their environment more. That's obviously a core component of gameplay for, you know, depending on if you're offense or defense, using those to your advantage, cutting off different choke points, using it for defusals, for pushing, all sorts of things. It's a huge part of gameplay, similar to how movement would be a big part of gameplay in Call of Duty. And what they've done is just make it more free-flowing in the world, making it connect more with the world, and giving it more of a live and real feel. It's a small change in all actuality, but it's one that right away you can see, okay, clearly this is going to change how this plays, and it's going to be a cool upgrade that makes you maybe think a little bit more in a positive way. Not necessarily the case with some of the changes that we saw with Warzone 2. Another change that they did in CSGO that I think is especially funny compared to Call of Duty, or Counter-Strike 2 rather, I keep calling it CSGO. In Counter-Strike 2, they are upping the tick rate. They're making the servers more reliable and basically just making it so that what you are seeing and feeling in the game in real time is truly what everyone is going to see and feel in real time. Now, Counter-Strike as a whole already had very good servers, and their, matchmaking servers were good, and then their competitive servers for things like ESEA and whatnot were also very good. Call of Duty's, on the other hand, are currently one of the major issues with the game, where every single match is very laggy. You're always getting high ping spikes. People are crashing out of the game or lagging out of the game. You have all sorts of scenarios where it feels like hit reg is terrible because the servers are so bad. Counter-Strike is going ahead and upgrading their servers that were already very good to be great now. Call of Duty hasn't done any server-side upgrades, it feels like, in forever, and the game feels the same connection-wise year over year, which isn't necessarily a good thing considering the servers don't always feel that great. Then Counter-Strike 2 also revamped the world. They changed up the maps to make them more appealing. They made the colors more vibrant. They changed the way lighting and reflections work, but not in ways that are going to make the maps play wildly different. They're not taking the map and deleting areas and adding crazy new ones or doing stuff like that. They're just freshening things up. They're tidying things up, and you're really enhancing how the game is going to look and again make the world feel more alive. Again, it's a simple thing, but it's going to make a big impact on gameplay and the quality of life. And because of these simple, small, yet effective changes, people are ranting and raving about CS2 already. They're so excited to jump in. They're so excited to watch people play the limited test right now and see how the game's going to improve over the coming months. Could the same be said for Call of Duty right now with the changes that we're seeing there? We're seeing the other giants in gaming innovate in some seriously cool ways, giving power to the players, upgrading not everything, but what will work well for the game and what will improve things slowly over time. They're not drastically changing things for the sake of change. They're listening to feedback and they're acting on it. Call of Duty is not really doing that in the same capacity, in the same way, with the same effectiveness. The bar is being raised elsewhere, and Call of Duty is now getting further and further away from that bar. And we would need to see some serious changes and some serious improvements in the way that things are approached if they want to even come close to getting to that bar yet again. So, bit of a different kind of video here today comparing these things, but Call of Duty, in my opinion, when you look at these other games, it's in trouble. They have so much hype elsewhere, and that same level of hype is there, like when the new game gets announced and revealed, woohoo, you know, MW2 is coming, awesome, it's gonna have the same name as the old game. It drops and it's hype for a week and then it starts to decline rapidly. Not the case elsewhere because of the way that things are approached. So that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button and join us on the road to 1 million subs. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.